Thursday night sessions live fly tying event here. So tonight what we're doing is we're actually welcoming one of our newest ambassadors to the team, Mr. Greg Senyo, and to honor him and him being on our team, we're going to be tying a few of his flies. Now, the first one that we're going to be tying tonight is a pretty fun, light and airy pattern called a Dr. Feel Good, if you guys can see that there. And the second pattern up this evening, we're going to do a correction on this. This is actually the double artificial intelligence. So it's a big intruder type fly that's fully synthetic and pretty cool. So I'm going to move my screen over just a hair because it always likes to move back. Hey Ryan, how's it going? Gabe, how's it going? Welcome. I'm going to scoot up and we'll adjust the camera angle as always and cruise in. So now that we're up close and personal, I'll show you guys the Dr. Feelgood and walk you through it a little bit. So Greg's a Great Lakes steelhead guru, fly tying material guru, self-proclaimed pastry professional connoisseur of sorts, and really a cool guy. He has a lot of influence in our industry, and rightfully so. His stuff is very, very creative, new, and cutting edge. So what we're going to be doing tonight, I have a trailer hook. This happens to be an OPST stinger hook, some Senyo wire, a Foxy brush. We have a blended wing of all synthetics. Some more. I tried to emulate what he does for his brushes, which is bringing two together. Hey Aaron, Dennis, hello, welcome. And then up front we have some synthetically cool colored jungle cock eyes. So these are a synthetic jungle cock eye and some guinea. And these are all going to be tied on his shanks, which are the Senyo articulated intruder shanks. And of course, typically from what I've seen of Greg and his tying, he matches the shank color to the fly color. I have blue 25 mil shanks for this fly, so it's a little bit sacrilegious, if you will, but that's okay. We're going to work with it. Hopefully everybody's staying dry after the last series of storms. It's I've been up and down the West Coast. Hey guy, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. I've been up and down the West Coast, and I can tell you every river that I saw was blown out completely. There might be some secret ones somewhere that are not blown out, but for the most part, they were pretty thrashed. Synthetics, all synthetics? No, not all synthetics. There's some, the Foxy brush is Arctic Fox brush with flash. Guinea is not a synthetic. So we're looking alright. Jake, how's it going, man? Welcome aboard. So I know this is like an age-old dispute between guys, or I don't even know if it's a dispute if I'd call it that, but some guys do hook up, some dudes do hook down. Mr. Senyo happens to be a hook down guy. It can help with some of the keeling and stuff like that. So what I have here is a size 3 swing hook, and some of his intruder wire as well. We just want to really lash that down nice and tight. And you notice that I passed it through the eye. It's not something that I do every time. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to that, but keeping as on point with the patterns, we're going to go for it. So once it's doubled over and locked down, it's going to be pretty much bomb-proof. So you guys can see, right now I have just barely enough to change that hook out if the event happens where, you know, I snag a rock, a tree, something like that. Hey Max, how's it going? Welcome. So Cool. Alrighty. So this is a cool product. This is the first portion of our fly here. This is the shorter of the two. I believe they come in 1.5 inch and a 3-inch variation. And this is a Foxy brush in a bright pink. As you can see, all of the hard work of doing dubbing loops has been, done for you. So it's pretty good. Guy says, "Is the feather still good?" So what I'll do, feathers are still good in my book, my man. I tie with lots of feathers, and I think everybody still uses quite a bit of feather. So I wouldn't worry about that. So what I do is I try to form this back like you were palmering a hackle. It comes pretty flat in there. So as I'm working it, I just work it backwards and try not to overlap at all. It's really just like palmering a hackle. It's going to create just a ton of profile. For those of you who want to be mad at Aaron, he happens to be fishing in the salt right now and not enjoying cold weather. So that's... Hey Terry, how's it going? Welcome to the live stream. So what I'll do is I'll mash that guy down pretty good, make sure it doesn't get caught up in anything. Go ahead and brush it out. Make sure nothing's loose in there that's going to pop out of there. So you can see there's some of those longer guard hairs still hanging out of the back of this. It kind of adds and aids to that look. Chris, yeah, this is the Dr. Feelgood, Chris. So make sure that's really well lashed down. And I tie with the Vivas 50D a lot. It doesn't build very much. So you can use a couple different stuff here. This is a shimmer fringe that I have. And this is the pink purple. You can see it's very shimmery and kind of fringy. I don't know how else to describe it. There's a ton of really good substitutes here or other products. I know Greg uses the shimmer fringe. So what I want to do is I want this to extend. There's going to be a few scragglers, but I'm going to bring it back with the majority of my fibers right about to the hook shank. Aaron says Southwest Florida is great, and I imagine it is. Let's see. Jake asks if I usually fish this on the Spey. You could definitely, yeah, I would fish. I would fish this on a Spey rod, but you could fish this on a single hand rod as well, Jake. It just comes down to the ease of casting kind of a thing. I find Spey casting larger flies to be pretty easy. So now for the traditional pattern, the way Greg ties it, I didn't have this specific product from, it's like a freckled flashaboo or speckled flashaboo. It's like one thing I don't have. So I'm actually introducing I'm going to use some of his freckled predator wrap. I think it'll create a really nice looking wing and add to the fly quite a bit. Steve, the shank on this guy for this fly is a 25 mil shank, and you're supposed to match it, but I did not as far as the color to the color of the fly. That was bad. So I like to comb these wings out as best as possible. Make sure they get real. I like to try to delaminate some of the materials because they all seem to be laminated, and go from there. Alright, so next up is some purple flash blue, and this is color 6913. Just a good old standard purple. I'm going to take about 10 strands of this out. There's a few that have gotten beat down along the way, it looks like. Hey Matthew, welcome. I'll try not to be bad this close to Christmas. Good call, good call. Appreciate it. Santa Claus will take all my presents back. So what I like to do is just extend it out, and I cut it at a little taper. So we're going for an overall 5-inch length fly, and as you can see, we're pretty darn close to that. At least I believe that's the right length for this. So once we form this really cool wing, hey Sergey, how's it going? Aaron's just giving fishing reports. I like it. I like it, Aaron. So this is kind of a cool deal. What Greg does for this pattern originally is he took a foxy brush, he cut it down halfway, and then mixed it with like an anadromous brush. So this is kind of, I believe this is like a chromatic brush, which is his product, so I'm pretty sure it's okay if I put that on there. It's what I modeled it after, at least. So we get that all wrapped in super well. And this is kind of the same ordeal here, where we want to build in front of itself with out going back, over the wire. You want to keep working in front of the wire. Is pretty important here. And I'll give it a solid 3, 4, maybe 5 turns just to get the body right where I want it for the final steps, and we'll do one more wrap. Okay. So I just use the oldest pair of scissors, or my side cutters, which are over yonder. My daughter seems to think that she needs those for doing things and her fly tying desk. So you can see these longer brushes tend to overlap the shorter one that we initially did, but the shorter brush is going to create a stiffness and separate off these fibers, creating that more teardrop shape once we get it in the water. Chris asks a great question. He says, what about doing like a composite loop instead of a brush? Absolutely. So realistically, when I built this brush, all I did was build my own composite loop on a dubbing brush machine. And it's kind of a technique that's been done for a really long time, of just putting multiple fibers onto a dubbing brush machine and doing it up. So it's absolutely acceptable. If you're super stoked off, throwing a stack of fibers in a dubbing loop, by all means, go ahead. I'm something I do a lot. So absolutely, you could go that route as well. I actually am working on creating a dubbing brush that just creates an intruder. Not for sale or anything, but just for my own personal fun. I might even shoot it on video. So I've chosen a hot pink, fluorescent pink guinea feather for the front of this. Traditionally it's done with a white. I'm out of white at this moment, but do a little hot pink coastal stuff for us out here. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm all right at gizmos. Honestly, my dubbing brush machine is pretty boring. I don't really know how. It's not anything special, but I wish it was. So what we'll do is we'll palmer in this guinea feather here. With my guineas, I like to wrap, especially using GSP, I'll go ahead and wrap back over them. And triple especially because of steelhead flies. Hey Michael, how's it going? Aaron wants to see the whole intruder brush. You know, I think I'll have to do it. I'll do it as like a teaser or something. It'll be fun. Guinea kind of likes to stick together, so I don't mind brushing it out a little bit. I lost my darn eyelash thing, or whatever. There it is. So I really just try to blend all this stuff together, make it look really, really slick. So we're puppy sitting right now, which if you guys have kids, puppy sitting is not like a great idea because it just means you're going to get another puppy. Exactly. Ryan asks, where is Loon Live located? It is located at my house. Go home for the day and I do Loon Live. So next up is our real fake jungle cock, as you can see. They come on sheets, and on the back side, which what I like, is you get a different color. So say if you wanted to tie, 3 different colored flies, there's a good chance that you could get, greens, oranges, yellows, everything like that. And these are extra larges, which I find to be pretty cool. So all I do is I put them in at the 11 and 1 position here. I really crank those guys down. The puppy intruder. Yeah, exactly. The puppy gets to go to its house tomorrow. So that's good. Because I have to sleep on the couch with the puppy because it's not potty trained. Alright, so once we have those guys at the 11 and 1 o'clock position, I'll go ahead and whip finish this. We'll trim that off. So you get a nice, clean head of the fly. Great wing, it's going to move a bunch, and as you can see, it's got a ton of killer profile. James asked if I got to fish while I was up in the Seattle area. I did not fish in the Seattle area, no. I didn't get to fish anywhere within the last few weeks. The Smith River here in California, I was looking at that, but it went to 122,000 CSF, which is ridiculous. I think the Clackamas was at somewhere close to 30. The Sandy was close to 30. Everywhere looked like it was pretty beat up. So I have not got to fish for a little while. Although I hear the local river here, the lower Sacs, pumping out some really nice sized fish lately. So I might have to go play out there a little bit. So I'm going to try to find like a cool pink pen. But that's alright. So what we'll do is I have all my pens over there, so we're just doing like I always do, color this all up. And we'll hit it with a little bit of some flow. To finalize it. And I even know where my flashlight is tonight, so that's good. Shoreline Risers, what's up, guys? How's it going? Yeah, these would be great BC flies, or Vancouver, whichever way. I think it's all the same. Dennis R says, fish the lower sack yesterday, only small fish. Did you use small flies? What if you use like this guy out there? You think we could catch troots on this thing? So there you guys go. That's the, I'll put it back in, do a little full spin. That's the Dr. Feel Good. We might have to swim this later. So next up is the double artificial intelligence. Kid attack. We're under attack here. So the AI is more of an intruder, a playful spin on an intruder. It's got great profile, and I really dig the look at the front of this pattern. It looks really cool and has a ton of good movement behind it. So, and again, hook down. Not a ton of weight on this guy, and I'll explain to you the weight system on here. More of a Trinity fly. James says it's still raining north of Everett here in Lake Stevens. Haven't even got out to fish either. You know, that's pretty close to where I grew up hanging out there, James. I have still have a family cabin up there in the Marysville area on Tulalip Reservation, so I know right where you're at. So for the AI, let's see. Oh. Still going. Nope, guys fishing the feather. I like it. Aaron is a typing ninja. He is. Let's see here. Cool. So this is a 40 mil shank, and these things come in all sorts of killer colors. They come in pinks, blues, pretty much every flavor of they're like Skittles. I think Senyo likes Skittles, maybe. I don't know. But they're really cool. So you can get every color under the sun. This one happens to be a black version. Looks like a crazy wasp. Kind of does. It kind of does. It has some really bug-like features to it. I kind of dig that about the pattern, though. It's really cool. I was reading Cheech's from Fly Fish Foods post when we were getting here, and somebody's mad at him apparently for not shouting out. So we should give Cheech a shout out. Taste the rainbow. Exactly, Max. Cool. So again, some large Senyo's intruder wire. I don't have all the colors in the rainbow of intruder wire. I probably should, but I don't. So what I'm going to do again is I like to keep just enough to where, for my own personal fishing, to where they, you can just barely swap the hook out. And I don't have enough, I guess this one was pre-done for something else. So they're just half hitched through there, so we'll just fold this guy over and get it really wrapped down. With this 50D, it's not going to move. You're not going to have a fish pull this out. I've sent these things to Russia this way for Sea Run Silver Tiger Taimen. Only they were like 8-inch intruders. And I know the hook straightened out, but not the line. I'll zip it for a while. Alright, so to create our rear dubbing bump. This is a frizzle chenille. You could use any of the cool chenilles from Hairline. They have a ton of them that I love. This one has just been on my hit list lately. I think Greg calls for a crystal flash chenille in here, but it has some crystal flash in it, and it's black, and it creates monster dubbing bumps, or I guess it would be traditionally dubbing bump, but so that's what we're going to start with here. I like to tie this in a little bit long. And one thing I did maybe not mention, but maybe you saw me doing it, is I do bring that wire where these gaps are, as you can see on this one. I'll bring the wire down each side of it's like the little channel there. It just makes good work to me. Yeah, there's a video up online about the silver tiger tame, is from the Drake magazine. It was pretty cool. I guess it was a pretty adventurous trip, and they got some just ginormous tiger taimen, and I believe that those are the only ones that are the sea run variety. So they were throwing like 6 to 7 inch, maybe 8 inch intruders with 3/0 like hooks that you would use for tuna, and they were pretty stout critters. Alrighty, so yeah, yeah, it is. They don't name those elusive creatures, like simply. It's like these huge, long, drawn-out names. So for this guy, we're going to use some Lady Amherst center tail section. This one's dyed a Kingfisher blue. Obviously, Greg's flies, I think he fishes them extensively and has a bunch of cool color combinations. Tonight, what I have is, I only have the materials on hand, so I'm making the variety like my favorite West Coast patterns. So he calls for about a 1/2 inch of this Amherst. So when that comes off of there, it looks something like that. Cool trick is I like to try to even them up a little bit. Yeah, those fish out there are no joke, man. If there's like I said, there's a video. The fish are ridiculous. It's like once in a lifetime trips and stuff like that. So I'm not incredibly concerned with what I'm creating underneath here, but I do want to splay these out just slightly, and this is going to be our rear wing for this pattern. I trim off any of the excess guys. This guy's splayed out a little bit extra, but that's all right. The tiger taimen, I don't know, anything that's like 40 inches and has teeth and is angry is pretty cool in my book. So we're going to use a little bit more of, and I kind of did this in a blend because I didn't have the exact materials, so I apologize for that. But this is some more of Senyo's Predator wrap. It's like a UV freckled Predator wrap. So I'm going to put in a few turns of that guy. And this is a 6915 Flashaboo. It's Kingfisher blue. I'm going to take about 10 or so of these as well, if I can get through the bag. There we go. Oh no, a foot and a half of snow. That's a pretty good number. It was crazy. I hit snow coming back out of Portland from my last demo of the year in shops at like 1,100 feet, which was pretty ridiculous. We were in like snowy conditions for well over 3/4 of our trip, I'd say. So I'm going to take a little tiny bit just to darken it up to make it look proper. And by a little bit I mean about 5 strands of 6997 Flashabou, which is like a peacock black. And Aaron, I didn't realize that I had that color, and then when I was taking photos of this I totally saw that, and I was like, wait a second, that's the color I was asking you what it was with the weird orbs hanging off of it. So cool. Oops. Alrighty. So Greg actually has this video up on the Schultz's Outfitters YouTube account as well. It's their barflies segments, and Greg ties the same fly in kind of an olivey green gold combination, which looks incredibly cool. So I peel off the fluff, and this is a baby blue guinea feather. And this is going to kind of clean up and be our supportive front collar here. And I just push that back in there, the tip. I'm not too worried about overall what it's going to look like there. I don't think it makes I don't think it's going to make or break the pattern. We'll take all the turns of this guinea here. So if any of you guys were super duper like Largaton's fans for flat weaves, flat diamond braid is pretty killer. Costs way less, it's way more available, and creates just an absolutely epic center section on intruders. So what I do is I'll wrap up front here into where our crazy 4 eyes will be. And I bring that all the way back just to make sure that I have a smooth transition there. And we're just going to wrap and palmer this guy in. Brian says the articulated AI. I know, I almost thought about tying in articulated AI, and then I was like, wait a second. We'll keep it PG. But it is. I love articulated patterns. I've been trying to articulate things for many years. I used to use Waddington shanks and split rings back in the day to try to get them to articulate, if you will. So a cool little trick for durability and bomb proofing, you could come in and back wrap this. What I like to do is I'll take some fluorescing flow and I'll just coat this whole diamond braid body. It becomes, you'll see it change color, and that's because it's very translucent in nature once it gets done up. Thinking you guys will see it change color on the video side of things. It doesn't change color on my camera screen. So and you can see it really start to pop and glow. I told you that the Timans are crazy creatures, man. Alright, so it's a little bit of variance, but I kind of threw it up there on the recipe. This is some more of the Frizzle chenille in that peacock black, because I like peacock black. And I've been throwing this color in or anything that I have blue in. It's Senyo's Aqua Veil Chenille, and it's called Popsicle. It's a killer kingfisher blue, clear UV, and has a slight green tinted UV fiber in there as well, and I love it. So it comes on a braided cord. Makes it really easy to work with. What I do is I'll typically just put the section in there and leave it coming out of the tube, or the bag, I mean. And this is going to add a little bit of flash. I think Greg traditionally uses like a schlappen or a Chinese saddle hackle in here. I believe it's schlappen. But hopefully it's not too offensive to use Aqua Veil Chenille. I saw a couple variations in stuff that were from different years and when there was a few different materials available. So this one's brand new, so it's way cooler than schlappen. So you can see we have a nice light color in here. Yeah, I mean, fly tying's, you know, it's man crafting. It's super fun. So you have to have all the proper little gadgets and stuff. Now the real question is what did I do with that? Like, there it is. So when we did the back, I pulled another a ½ inch off, and I'll do about the same up front here. And we're going to place that guy in there. And this is going to stand up super well. Cool thing about synthetics and all of these patterns that Greg does is they're really light, airy, and they're very castable in nature because they are synthetics. So let's see. James asked, "Is Hairline my preference for materials?" I get a lot of stuff through Hairline, and anything I don't get through Hairline, it's like real weird steelhead tying stuff that is ridiculously expensive and not regularly. I don't know how to say it. It's like weird, expensive feathers that you have to go to like really high, weird specialty shops to obtain. But outside of that, I mean, they have everything, and I enjoy it. I enjoy everything that they make. They have some really creative synthetics for my intruder stuff. So what we have here, and obviously Hairline, you know, distributes just a ton of other products as well. You know, be it like the craft fur brush, or these foxy brushes that we used in the beginning, or their Enrico Puglisi stuff. So they have all the fun stuff, in my opinion, that I tie with, at least. All right, so we did I did about a ½ inch as well of that predator wrap. And now for our eyes. So we get some pretty large bead chain eyes, and we're going to cut off 2 pairs. So Nolan says, "I don't even know what the fish think this thing is." I don't think they know what it is either, Nolan. I think it just makes them angry. I think it's more of a territorial thing. You know, some steelhead flies are designed to look like specific, like a prawn or a shrimp or something like that. And others are just really, they're very territorial, so it's designed to get in their area, make them uncomfortable, and aggressively trigger a strike is the best way I can think about it. So what we'll do, and I'll show this to you guys as well. We keep all of everything else out of there. We're going to try to move that guy back just a hair here. There we go. Perfect. So I want a little bit of room. I don't want to crowd the head and look like a goober. So they're a little bit fickle for me to get them in there, just because the shank's a little wider than what we got here. So there we go. So if you guys look at it, you can see there's this goofy 4 sets of eyes. I think it looks crazy. I like it though. So we're going to repeat the rest of our wing steps. We're going to use the 2 flashaboos again. Another cool thing I think would be so much fun to use in a pattern like this is the new grizzly flashaboos. Those I think would just look absolutely stellar in here. So what I do is I just kind of come down and taper through. That's my thing. Wasn't instructed on it that way, but you can see it starts to have a lot of flow, and it looks really kind of cool. The total length on this guy, he's about, so far he's well, if we stretch him out like he is in the water, he's just about 4.5, almost 5 inches long, Steve. But there's really nothing here. It's a lot of profile and a large fly, but without any major volume. If you're picking up what I'm trying to put down there. It's a flashy shank filled with hooks. I would like to visit the Hedron headquarters someday. It's probably on my bucket list of things to do. I tend to really enjoy checking out fly fishing material manufacturers. Okay. So you try to keep everything out of the way as you palmer this guy through. And what I'll do is I'll come over through the eyes. Oops. Move that up just a hair. These eyes are pretty tricky to work around too. I mean, you got 4 of them. So they're not quite as forgiving as, say, some of the dumbbells. Cool thing is we can brush all of these willy-nilly ones back here in a second. Oops. So that's like kind of the crux. I'm going to get the stem out of there and start brushing everything back. Okay. Let's see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You guys are fast. So, alright, so yeah, Brian, the Lady Amherst really does help to support the Flashabou. Flashabou also is kind of floaty by its nature. It kind of picks up a little bit and doesn't really get too weighed down in the water. So that's kind of the theory there. And yeah, the Lady Amherst definitely helps to support that. So let's see here. Oh, Aaron apparently sucks. Do those rattle eyes in a bit. Rattle eyes? I don't know if I have rattle eyes. I saw the rattle beads that Mr. Pat Cohen has. Those have me interested beyond belief. So, Greg calls for either the original, jungle cock skin, or a synthetic variation, which would have been the real fake eyes that we used on the Dr. Feelgood. And so for this guy, I'm going to just use the legit jungle cock eyes. Anything excess, I just pull them back over. And focus while I do this. And Serge asks, why the 4 Chinese eyes? I don't know. It's Greg's way of getting them to become more of a look out of the front of the pattern here. This guinea was a little bit thicker, a little bit more probably done in front when I did that one. But yeah, it's just his style, and it's also, I think he's fishing these on like a ledge system in the Great Lakes region. So I believe he's doing it to add more weight, but not like lead-eye weight, if that makes sense. So it's just a way of increasing the weight of the fly without, adding a set of like traditional heavy lead eyes to an intruder. So I think if I've understood what his theories are there correctly, that's what he's doing with this. So a lot of the rivers in that area are very ledgy and kind of the swim test. Oh, bugger swimming. Yeah. Sorry guys. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't not swim these things this close to Christmas. I mean, that would be horrible. That'd just be downright mean. Now, if I can find them, the Dr. Feelgood has gone MIA. Uh-oh. Dr. Feelgood? Paging Dr. Feelgood. If you guys saw my desk, you would understand the conundrum that I work with here. I'll have to rewind the video, see where I put that thing. We'll swim the AI first then. I bought one of those Christmas light momentary switches or foot controls, and it's on the other side of the desk. So let's pan over to said tank for now. Okay. Did I drop it? Whoa. Oh boy. Yeah. There we go. Tank is on. It's on and ornery. So the cool thing is, if you guys watch this start to drop, let's see where this boy, let's see if I can get it perfectly in frame here. So as you can see, it's got some moves. It's definitely a fly with movement. think I put those little, those no-knot quick connect rings on there to help me. Aha! There she is. I set it right next to the tank, Aaron. Or she did. So, I think these little goofy clips make stuff swim pretty wonky. I'm actually personally very excited to fish some of these patterns here. If the next rainstorm doesn't come, which it's already raining outside, so. So Dr. Feel Good is a much lighter fly, so it'll take me a second to get him down in there. Oh, that thing does not like that little wobble bobbler. There you go. So again, very similar to the AI as far as the movement in the back of the pattern. And I don't think I'm going to keep those little clips in there. Graham asks where I get jungle cock capes. I got that at a fly shop. I think they have more, if I remember correctly. So give me a second here. The foot pedal is supposed to be underneath me, but I wasn't that intelligent to do that. We're going to zoom out. Whoa. I don't know if you guys can hear through the vents. My sister-in-law is obviously torturing my children. Yeah, so jungle cock capes, I got this one specifically from the Fisherman's Spot in LA. If you call the guys down there, they have some on consignment from somebody's private stash. And they're really good quality and a good price. Let's see. Let me get. Aaron says, "Why wouldn't you eat that?" Exactly. That's exactly why not. Yeah, it's a really send me a few. So, so yeah, guys, that's all we have this week on the Loon Live. Again, thanking Greg for coming in, and I got to give Cheech a shout out because he forgets to shout people out, so we got to give him a shout out. I guess I don't know. Gabe asks, what is the next Loon Live fly? The next Loon Live fly, I don't know. We had one guy request some stuff, and it was a Hellgrammite again. So, now we'll probably do one of something like that. You guys can see if we can get in there. So big, something traditional with tinted wings and stuff like that. Probably multiple Hellgrammite patterns, exactly. So that's the one fly that I have kind of panned in there. Gabe, did you have something you wanted to see? Yeah, another steelhead fly. That's Mr. Aaron requested the steelhead fly. But Gabe, if you have something you'd like to see, let me know. You have a quick shot at it. But I'd love to tie a pattern that you would like to see done. So let's see. We'll give Gabe a second here. Ways. A D. That would be fun. Yeah, maybe I'll just do 3 flies. A gray ghost. Okay. All right. We'll do a gray ghost. Some more classics and. Matt, we could probably squeeze some Jerry Frenchen's stuff in. Maybe second live stream in January. I'll talk to Jerry and the guys up at OPST and see what they're up to. Make sure they don't mind. But yeah, we can. We'll definitely do some of those. I always get to refer back to that, and more or less get to see what you guys like. So I'd love to tie some more traditional stuff. Actually, in Washington, we fished a lot of long-shanked traditional flies. So retro. And a married wing salmon fly? Isn't that what I just showed you? Well, it's just married wing steelhead fly. I don't have 3 days, Aaron, on a live stream to tie one of those masterpieces, buddy. So, Cool. Yeah, that's actually, Max, that's what Gabe asked for, was a gray ghost. So we'll do something like that. I have some cool old traditional hooks lying around. But yeah, we'll get some Jerry French patterns going. We'll do maybe like camo squids or a little Schniddler Wiggler or something. But yeah, thanks, Gary. I appreciate you tuning in. Overnight special. just like huge cups of coffee going. Thanks, Steve. Ryan, thank you. Well, anyways, guys, have a great holiday. Merry Christmas, holidays, etc. I think I've missed a few holidays already, but a skinny hoe, there you go. But we'll catch you guys first week in January, back with some more steelhead flies, maybe some D's, and stuff like that. But cheers, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching.
Crack.